Mr. Fallman's right there to me.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
wow, we're all like all over the place. So, is there a topic that somebody like to discuss? Is getting prepared for a presentation that we can work around and discuss and talk about? Okay.
Hmm.
The latest press release is available in the multiple listing service. I also posted this in the Facebook, our page, and this report comes out around between the 5th and the 7th of every month, and it contains really great and useful information that I use to inform customers in a consultative style of persuasion in order to allow them to formulate come to a formulated decision that will best serve their needs. That's what we do. It's how you present this. Is how you present the information that can help them um, either stay where they're at, which could be the best thing for them, or to help persuade them to help them overcome their objections about why they need to go to the gym and exercise. Because we all have a stated desire to do something, but oftentimes we have objections about getting up early, eating the good foods, and I don't know why I put candy and chips out here in the office because it's hurting me, okay? But this is information to help your customers make the right decisions. A couple of things that I've noticed here, I like going right to the back of this document. Let me take this screen thing off because it's bothering me. Visual, okay, no background. Okay, here on the back of the report has a lot of great and useful information to start a conversation and then also lead them to their point of decision. I always prefer to start at 30,000 feet and then come in for the landing versus just dropping altitude and then come right in for the close. So I like to build it up a little bit. Hey Manny, welcome. And so one of the parts of my discussion is, hey Todd, we is this a good time to buy? Is this a good time to sell? What's going on in the market? What do you think is going to happen with home prices? What do you think is going to happen with interest rates? Should I or should I not? I mean, these are questions that we're going to be getting. And this report helps me look really smart because it's put together by other smart people. And I just take other smart people's information, internalize it, and then it makes me look real smart. So after reviewing this information over a course of months and years, you start to see things and be interpret trends and be your own analysis. So one of the areas I like to go through is this a good time, or are people still buying homes this time of the year? Here in a four-county region last month, it was the fourth highest reported pending the number of pending rate. It was the fourth highest number of reported pending sales in the last 18 years. Okay, the fourth highest month in a four-county region. Okay, those regions in the four counties are Kitsap, Pierce, Snohomish, and King. King, Snohomish, uh, Pierce, and Kitsap counties. It's the fourth highest month of reported pending sales in the last 18 years. Okay. Second was last year. And the reason that we are seeing we're not in that second or fourth, why we're fourth and not second or first is not because the demand has slowed. It's because inventory levels have dropped. Let's take, for example, last year, and here's a prime example, because I want to tell you the story, but I also want to back it up with facts. Check this out. And this is going to confirm what I just said and why now is a good time to sell as well to buy. Last year, in the same month, we had in all of Snohomish County 0.49 months of inventory. That was last year. Last year, that means just a half month. And then you have to describe what a half a month of inventory means. 0.49 months of inventory. To somebody out there on the streets, okay, well, I don't know if that's good or bad. And so you want to break it down and say that means if no other homes were to be listed, the shelves will be completely bare in 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks of inventory. That's a half a month of inventory, so 0.49. Last year we had 2 months. I'm sorry, we had 2 weeks of inventory available, and we had 7,934 reported pending sales in this 4 county region, which was the highest level in the last 18 years. Now, the reason we didn't reach that mark because we were at 7,405 reported pending sales is because this month, this year, we had 0.36 months of inventory. Okay, that's about a week and a half of inventory available at the end of last month, at the end of October, compared to the end of October last year, where we had 0.49 months. So you can see there is a strong appetite for buyers in today's market. So then, you give them that little bit of an overview. Uh, Here in this report, it demonstrates the median home sales price and the average home sales price. And so you can start talking about this information, and then you can take a look at this. Here's something that's interesting here in Snohomish County. Now, this is going to shock you. So I want to prepare you in advance that you better have a seat belt. You better have a seat belt attached to you while you're sitting in this chair because you just might fly out. Last month, the total number of reported pending sales in Snohomish County, 1,548 reported pending sales. That's a great number, by the way. That's a fantastic number. The number of new listings that came in, so we had 1,548 sales. The total number of new listings, 1,251. So if you are sitting on the fence thinking about maybe I will sell my house, this is a winter month. I'm not sure, if people are buying during this time of year. I would refer back to history in regards to inventory levels and such. And by the way, everybody, this information is right here. I can go back in the last 18 years. Well, based upon the trajectory that we are heading and in the midst of everything, uh, last year was one of the third highest months of reported pending sales in November. And last year, it was the third highest month in the last 18 years in December. Sure, the number goes down. Okay, let's just take this and let's just use another part of reality is so we're looking at about 7,405 sales last month. You could say, well, the springtime is when all the sales happen. Okay, well, the springtime last year, this year, okay, let's just go back to recent history. There's 8,002 sales made in April, 7,716 sales made in April. I'm sorry. And then 8,674 sales made in May and 8,800 in June. Yeah, there's probably a little bit more sales happening then.
Hey,
Yes.
Todd,
Mhm.
just a quick question on your perspective of potentially how this federal mandate is going to affect our region with Boeing and that kind of stuff, people that want to leave due to this immunization stuff. Are you getting a feel for we're going to have a big influx of inventory or just a little bit?
I don't think there's going to be that much of a flux of inventory hitting the market. I think the rental market's going to do very, very well. Um, if they are changing careers or leaving their job, it's difficult to uh, find financing.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, I'm hearing that people are planning on leaving the state. And
Yes,
you
that's
know, I don't know if everybody's clientele is sort of the same, but it's not a ton of people, but there's a number of people that want to leave the state.
yeah. That's very common. I mean, I've felt that, and I'm not the only one that felt that. Not to get into a political
No,
reason, but
no.
people move based, and they have the freedom to move based upon political, financial, social, uh, demographics. You know, people want to move into communities that they feel more comfortable with. People want to move for political reasons. People want to move for financial reasons. People want to move for educational purposes. This is just another one of those drivers that we're seeing.
I,
That's a motivation for someone to do something.
yeah, I was just wondering if potentially come end of December, January, we might get, you know, maybe a
Yeah,
substantial increase in inventory on the market.
I don't think it's going to be a substantial increase to meet the demand because of the interest rates so low. All the those interest rates are just ridiculously low. And should interest rates increase a little bit, I think we're going to start to see then more activity. Believe it or not, the bottom maybe 15 to 20% of the buyers will be priced out of the market with an increase of the interest rates. They'll be priced out.
And the rest of them will get off the fence, right?
The rest of them are like, oh crap, interest rates are going to go up. I need to do something. And so that's going to probably cause a little bit of a stir, I think. Uh, People who are debating whether or not they want to wait. Boy, I'm just, for a buyer who has the ability to act now, will be paying a significant amount more for the same home come springtime. Now, the other aspect to this is sometimes investors and buyers say, the winter time is the best time to shop because there's less competition. And based upon the numbers, I mean, I can go back and look back through history. There's never been a month in December that have reported over 5,000 pending sales. I mean, that does, I can't say that at all, except for the year 2009 when the market crashed, but that was the Great Recession of 2008 and 9 when we hit our peaks in the market, where there's never been rarely a month below 7,000 reported pending sales in May, which is our peak. So, yeah, there's more volume in May, there's less volume in December, but that's also relative to the number of new listings as well. So you're not necessarily going to gain much by waiting, and you're not going to necessarily gain a lot by jumping into the market now. The best thing to do is, if you can afford to do something, is to act and get a hold of something and not think about purchasing. This is going to sound really odd, but as a buyer in purchasing real estate, you're not purchasing price. You're not purchasing a house on price. You're purchasing a house on payment, because the prices are absolutely ridiculous. And having to compete with other buyers, and you're not negotiating with a seller, you're negotiating with other buyers in today's market because there's only less than 2 weeks, there's about 12 days of inventory in Snohomish County, that is at the end of last month. So November is a hot time. There is less activity, but there's also less inventory. So imagine when interest rates are going to increase and there's a small amount of inventory and more buyers flooding to get a good interest rate before they increase even more. If I knew and if I had the capacity to store 4,000 gallons of uh, unleaded mid-grade fuel 1 year ago, I would have purchased 4,000 gallons of mid-grade fuel, unleaded fuel. But I have to buy the fuel now at the price that's at the pump. So if you wait to buy a home, you're going to be paying an inflated price because that's the way prices are going. So as much as you don't like the price of gas and the price of fuel and the price of these homes right now, you're going to be paying more if you wait. Or you can buy now, and then later on, uh, you're not going to be able to, you'll be able to say, I bought when it was low, even though it's high. Uh, and real estate is a long term investment. These are the discussions I have with buyers who are maybe waffling and maybe not thinking about doing something. You can show them these reports because and help them understand about how they're negotiating. It's not price. You can't think about the price. You need to think about how the affordability is not the price. The affordability is your monthly payment, because it's just ridiculous. And once you can get locked into that home and you plan on being here for a longer period of time, you're always going to have that monthly payment.
That's security that they don't have in a rental, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So here also is some great material for market updates. Really quick 60-second, under 1 minute market update works really great, for your Instagram. If you're to do this regularly, or just say, hey, something exciting has just happened. Um, this inventory level right now is significant. And let me explain how that works for you as a seller. A great saying that came up from JR a while ago is that you are buying in the market you're selling in. Home sellers have hesitancy. Well, I can't find a house that I'm going to be able to exchange. You probably won't. And the convenience and inconvenience of these markets. The convenience and inconvenience of these markets, as I tell sellers who are like contemplating, well, if I sell, I don't have anywhere to go. I know that. So the convenience is that you are going to get an extreme premium for your property right now. And for that convenience, it will be inconvenient in replacing the property. There hasn't been a time in the marketplace in the last number of years, as far as I can remember, going back to the Great Recession of 2009, 10, and 11, when home prices started going up again, that you had enough inventory to feel secure about exchanging your home, because there's always that, what am I going to replace with? So the convenience is you're going to get a huge amount of chunk of money. The inconvenient part is that you're going to have to compete as a buyer in this market, wherever you're basically going to be exchanging, because inventory is low in almost all major metropolitans and suburbs. So it's whether or not you want to decide to be inconvenienced and convenienced at the same time. Huge amount of equity, great time to sell, and inventory levels are not looking like they're going to increase. So if you can get $50,000 or $60,000 more for your property, um, is the inconvenience worth staying in an extended stay, keeping your stuff in storage for a while in order to capitalize on that additional um, in this incredible market? I understand that there is an unknown. I also understand that it's extremely inconvenient. I understand that the house that you are looking for is not there right now, but also taking a look at putting an extra $50,000 to $80,000 in your pocket and being inconvenienced for 8 to 10 months, is that going to be worth it for you? I've never seen a time in my career that an owner hasn't found what they're looking for. In this market, it's going to take you a little bit longer than normal in other markets based upon inventory, but your next home is out there. Even if we don't see it, it's out there. This is called a leap of faith. However, that unknown and that inconvenience, you will be inconvenienced for up to 6 months. Just let's just get that understanding. But the convenient part is that you're going to have 50 to $70,000 above what it is you would normally get in a normal market. So you're not selling in a normal market and you're not buying in a normal market. If this is too much for you, don't do anything. Stay where you are, because it's going to be a roller coaster and it's going to be unpredictable. That's how I lay it out.
One thing that I do for home sellers, because I've talked to a lot of homeowners, is I tell them, hey, I know, I totally understand you don't want to sell right now, but you are in a very strong equity position, and there's a lot of things that you can do with your equity, either a cash refinance or an equity line of credit, and you can pull that equity and put into another investment property or a short-term rental over in Gold Bar or Sultan, where it's expanding into Airbnb rentals as well, or just buy another investment property and have two appreciating assets while having that pay for itself.
Yes.
Like, oh,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, the
yeah.
other thing is, oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jose.
I was talking to a homeowner because he had his baby right there, and it was like a newborn. I'm like, hey, you want to pay for your kid's college and have it paid for all cash? Like, yeah, it's like this is the way to do it. Real estate. So.
Well, and the other thing is, depending on what price range they're selling in and what price range they're moving to, a little bit higher price ranges are competitive, but not as competitive as some of the lower price ranges. So, if they're buying a $750,000 or $800,000 house, yes, there's competition, but not as much as a $450,000 to $500,000 house.
Absolutely. Knowing the median home sales prices in these areas, and also looking at those inventory levels. If you can get a listing around the average sales price, and when you start to come down for the landing, we're talking way up here at 30,000 feet above the ground. As you start to come down for the landing, that's when you that's when you open up the Snohomish County breakouts, King County, whatever county you're working in, and then you can get right down to the areas that they are in: 770, 760, 750, 730, 40, 610. You know what I'm talking about. And then you can get right into those general areas within the region, and then even fine tune it even more to a city. And then you can define it even more to a 3 to 4 mile radius. And so, in preparing for enlisting, or if you are with a buyer that says, I want to live within a 3 mile proximity to Tulalip Casino because that's where I work. Okay, then you can, start up here. This is where it looks like. Drop it down to Snohomish County, drop it down to area 770, and then drop it down even closer, all within the within the demonstration of having your MLS open and then running searches right there in front of them. If you're listing property, you can bring them down to the ground and have your reports at 30,000, have the studies down at 10,000 feet, 5,000 feet, 2,500 feet, and then boom, touchdown right around their neighborhood. And you bring them down so they can get a full scope of exactly what's happening, particularly into their neighborhood, regarding the price ranges, of course, that they are operating in. So having this data is very, very important. Now you can find this data. It's all available through your membership at the Northwest MLS, through the press release, Snohomish County breakouts, and through info sparks. You can create some really, really fantastic graphs. And it's the graphs that I use that are really, 1,000 feet above before we touch down. So I just sort of bring them down, right down to the landing, to what matters most to them. And what matters most to people is what's happening in their neighborhood and how it affects them. Tony Robbins is like, what's in it for me? Okay, great. I don't have too much interest in what's happening in freaking Kitsap County, Todd. Okay. Or Pierce County, Todd. King County, Todd. I'm here in Marysville, Todd. Okay. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time up here at 30,000 feet. But what I'm doing is I'm educating them as the whole on the health of the market. That's when I go in to get my checkups, I may be feeling something in my back, but they're going to take a good look at my overall health as well, and then they can get right to the point, what I came in for. So I'm doing the same thing as just I'm diagnosing the market to let them know where they're at, and then bringing it right down to the point to what's in it for them. And so all the tools are available for you in the MLS to make that happen. And this is where it starts. I also include this printout in the folder when I go out for a consultation. If I go out for a consultation, there may be areas in here on this report that I will highlight, okay, that will pertain more towards them. There are some great statistics, great third-party stories, in other words, social proofing, and then I can go back and just review this with them and have this as a handout. So really great information, particularly same thing with the home buyers when they come in for a consultation. I will review this. I know the consultations, they just go, what's the price? What's the price of my house? I want to go shopping for a house. I want to go shopping for a house. But you slow down and educate them about what the market is. And then you are the expert. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking a little bit more into the Snohomish County breakouts. And you can find these breakouts in all the counties, but I'm going to share that report with you through Facebook. But you can also find the Snohomish County breakouts. You can also find the Snohomish County breakouts on your own and have them printed out. If you don't have it printed out, that's fine. But that's what we'll be covering tomorrow, and how to interpret that and how to present that information to find suitable solutions for your customers. Cool. That wraps it up. I enjoy everybody here. Hey, Manny. Woo! Look at that sexy face of yours, man.